Hi guys, so happy to be back. I know it has been a minute, a long hot minute actually, since I last posted on this channel, but I'm so glad and so excited that I'm going to be back now, full time, for good. Today, we are going to talk about Nairobi nannies. The last time I posted here, I posted with a friend of mine that we were single at the time, but as at now, I got married, had a child, and for the past year or so, I've had a rough experience with Nairobi nannies. I mean, I've seen it all. Or at least I hope I've seen it. I think it cannot get worse than this. So today I'm going to narrate how these people have dealt with me. Because they really have dealt with me. When I was around 8 months pregnant, heavily pregnant, I employed my first nanny because I wanted to first experience her and see if we jive or anything before the baby came. She came all the way from my village. It was recommended by my grandmother. So when she came to my house, she was nice. She was really clean and neat. That is one thing I liked about her. But the lady could gossip. Mama could gossip since morning till night. And you know, at the time, I didn't know any better. So I would just listen to her. I didn't have, clear boundaries with these people. So obviously, I treated her as a sister. So I would just sit and listen to what she has to say the whole day. Hey, after a few weeks, she was a few weeks old in my house, and now she started telling me, my neighbor is cheating on the wife, and she just had too much moshene. I saw the dude, the husband, my neighbor's husband, with a lady throwing up, throwing liquor bottles in the trash can. It was in the morning. She had a lot of stories. That was not an issue because I think I had the capacity to tame her and tell her not to tell me those stories, and I did. And so she withdrew from telling me a lot of stories and mojane from everybody. But now she was addicted to Zora. You know Zora, the TV series that used to be in Citizen. At exactly 8, around 7 to 8, I think that is the time it used to air. She was just telling me, oh, my dear, just continue with what you are doing. I will join you later. Please put for me Zora to watch. Did I know any better? Me, I didn't. I would just put for her Zora. And she would watch Zora and watch news. And now later, I would serve food. Most of the time, I'd be the one cooking. I would cook and serve them. Her and my husband, I would serve. The day for delivery came. I went to hospital, and unfortunately I had to stay in hospital for a week. That's a story for another day. You will want to hear about this story time, about my labor and delivery story. Very juicy. And by the way, you will want to now subscribe because that labor and delivery story, you'll want to hear it. I went to hospital and I had to stay for a week. We actually both had to stay with my husband. So my husband just came and picked a few of his items and clothes because he was still working. And then now he would commute from the hospital. We had a nice room that would accommodate both of us at the same time. So we left her in the house alone for a week. And when we came, we had the shock of our lives. When we left, I had left her some money. I had left her 2,000 shillings for anything that she would want to buy by the time we go to hospital and come back. And when we came, outside our apartment is a kiosk. We found that she had accumulated a debt of almost 600 bob. Then we were questioning her, as in, what happened to the money that we left you? And then we realized also, if you ask her something or you try to correct her, she would cry. She was older than me. Like she had 3 kids. 3 school-going kids, like big kids. But then I realized every time I would ask her anything, she would cry. And then it would start getting awkward because obviously now I don't want to make anybody cry in my house. And then maybe they'll come and say, oh, Jemima has been mistreating me or anything. So when we were questioning her what she did with the money, Mama started crying. Oh, when you left her to eat bread, we told her we don't have a problem with you eating bread. We actually don't have an issue with you eating whatever. And then by the time we left for hospital, had stocked my fridge and freezer to the brim. You'll get to meet my freezer. It's pretty huge. Actually, it's huge. It was full of food stuff, because when I was nesting, I've done a lot of shopping, and we had boiled a lot of had food prepped for life after the baby comes. So I was like, we left a lot of food in the fridge, so I don't understand how you spend the whole 2,000 bob in a week. I mean, what happened? Just tell us. No, she's crying, she started crying, and now she started opening up. When you left, I started feeling cold, so I went to the market and bought myself some skin tights and everything. I was like, when we left here, you didn't tell us you were cold. You didn't tell us you wanted to buy some skin tights. We would have bought for you skin tights. But if we leave 2,000 for food, it is 2,000 for food. The baby came. She never held the baby for like 2 months since I came back. And since my mom-in-law had come to live with me and, take care of me a bit because I was a first-time mom, my mother-in-law would wake up very early in the morning and do everything while she was sleeping. She never held the baby or asked after the baby. Hey, all she wanted to do every day was being sent to the market. Auntie, I want to go to the market. Are you sending me anything? She used to love going to the market. I don't know what she used to do. So my mom-in-law advised me, hey, my dear, this nanny has zero interest on the baby. So you'll just have to get a plan B before you start going to work. That part, I had to agree with it, because the mama was really not forthcoming with even trying to even make an effort to even, get hold of my baby. So I didn't have the guts to fire her. She was my first nanny. I had never had an experience with nannies. I didn't know how to fire. I didn't know how even to talk to them. I didn't know to even accost them. I was just green. So I didn't know how to fire her. And, I was so guilty of even telling her, oh, my dear, I'm firing you, go home, and anything. So I just called her for a meeting to my sitting room one day. I was like, my dear, I don't think we are getting along. And especially, I don't think you're good with my baby, because you've not even held him since he was born. So I was like, what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to allow you to just walk around and ask for work from the neighboring apartments, and if you get work, you'll be free to leave. So she would do a few things, and then in the evening I would allow her to go around looking for work. After like 4 or 5 days, she got work, and that is how she left. And my dear, a sigh of relief. It was like, hey, I was just so happy that she left. Hey, I didn't know that the worst was on the way. She was, all for the soft life, you know what I mean. So, I didn't know that time she had already started dating my neighbor's husband.